The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
And hello, everybody. Welcome into a brand new week of Running Point on YSNLive.com. Brought to you, as always, by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. I'm going to go ahead and put them in the top right-hand corner of the screen so you know where to go if you are in the market for a new or used vehicle. It is Greenwood Chevy, and it's in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same here on this show every single day. Follow our sponsors' lead like any good show should. And we're going to do that today with more player profiles. We have one from Badger High School, the girls basketball program. Katie Grexa had a great talk with her. Great interview. Can't wait for you guys to hear it. Superstar. The bona fide superstar, had 1,000 points her junior season. Led the team to the first NAC win in over 30 years last year. First time they won the NAC in a long time. We talked about her love for basketball, her ability to kind of be a second coach on the floor, her relationship with her coaches that she's had over the years. Going to be a great conversation. Can't wait for you guys to see it. So that'll be later on in the show. We have that for you. We're going to have recaps of the weekend. Had a lot go down on a shortened Friday, but because of that kind of an elongated Saturday, some games moved from Friday to Saturday with the delays from Friday's snowstorm. And we have a lot to recap from the weekend. We'll obviously preview as well big games on the network tonight. We have a few big ones that will mean a lot in the conference. We have other ones that are just very interesting matchups. So we'll also go over that for you today as well. So let's start with our recap section. Bring up that scoreboard on ysnlive.com and we'll pop it up, which is always presented by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs, as you can see right there. The YSN scoreboard is a great tool for our fans, whether you are watching one of our broadcasts or you're at one of our games, or maybe even both, hopefully both, because that would be a great usage of your time to watch a YSN broadcast while you're sitting in the stands of another game as well. Well, no matter what you're doing, you don't want to look away from the action for too long. And the YSN scoreboard is a great and easy way to get live updated scores from your favorite teams around the area, whether it be your rivals or your friends. We have a great team behind the scenes that makes sure that the scoreboard is as live updated as possible, which means you don't have to wait until midnight for final scores to come in. And it is a great tool for us. ysnlive.com/scores is where you can find it, and it is presented by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. Let's go to the bottom and check out the weekend scoreboard. You go down here. Right now it's set to Monday, but if you go down here and click on January 20th, which was Friday, go hop in the DeLorean a little bit, back in time. I'm sorry, 20th is Saturday. I'm way behind. Let's go into the 19th. We had 7 games, I believe, maybe 8 on Friday. 7, I was right. Friday, we did see Western Reserve and Waterloo play. Waterloo gets the win there, 52-40 final score. We also were able to see Lowville beat McDonald in a very close one, 54-51. The Rockets kind of cool off the Blue Devils, who were coming off of a win over Springfield. Remember, that was Springfield's first conference loss of the year, so McDonald was riding a very good hot streak coming into Lowville. The Rockets cool them off. And the Rockets are starting to find a little bit of their identity, a little bit of their groove after a tough start to the season, starting to score a lot more. We saw them really struggle on the offensive end first half of the season, but here we go. We're finding ways to score. We're finding confidence in our new group of players on varsity, and another big win under the belt for Lowville. Sebring gets their first conference win of the year on Friday, 66-61. They beat Mineral Ridge. Badger and Wyndham doing battle in Wyndham. This was a makeup from Thursday, and it was Badger getting the big victory, 74-44, all over the Bombers in Wyndham there. Hubbard and Niles were able to get together. The snow did not bother them one bit as Niles gets the victory, 54-49, the final score there. Springfield got the win over Jackson Milton as well, 49-43. One of the things I like about this Springfield team is we're starting to see them develop over the season. Yes, they lost to McDonald. It was their first conference loss of the year, but they're a team that this kind of makes games mucky, kind of gets them all, I guess you could say sloppy, uses good defense, finds ways to win close games. When you play that style of basketball where you're not blowing people out, you're going to find yourselves into a lot of close game situations. And more times than not, Springfield is coming out on top. Like I said, only one conference loss. It was earlier in the week to McDonald. Springfield is just a team that knows how to win games. It's not going to look pretty. It's not going to be the best game you've ever seen, usually from the Tigers, but finding ways to win games is nothing to ever turn your nose up at. Making game-winning plays on the stretch is almost something you can't really coach. It just comes from that mentality that gives you confidence in those situations. And Springfield had been a lot of those close games in years prior, and they have even if you were watching on the bench or you were in practice for those games, you get the feel of what it takes to win them. And I think you're seeing that experience seep through this Springfield team that is finding ways to win a lot of close games and finding ways to make those game-winning plays down the stretch. Do it again against Jackson Milton, who gave up a heck of a fight at home against the Tigers. Jackson Milton a little bit on the struggle bus this year. So to put up this kind of fight against a team that's coming in leading the conference, Springfield's going to get a lot of these. They're going to continue to get a lot of these close games that kind of get muddy, kind of get sloppy, but finding ways to win using really good defense and then game-winning plays down the stretch. I don't care how the first three quarters look if you're winning in the fourth, right? Keep it close, keep it there, keep playing the tempo of basketball you want to play, and then find ways to win down the stretch. That's what this Springfield team is doing this year. And that makes them dangerous because it's hard to prepare for a team that kind of rolls out the ball and plays and just finds ways to win. And I think that's what Springfield does really, really well. We'll go into the one girls game that happened on Friday. It was the boys-girls doubleheader in Wyndham, and the girls get the 42-40 win, much closer than the boys, but Badger does sweep the boys-girls doubleheader with that 42-40 win over the Bombers on Friday. Let's hop into Saturday. Like I said, much more games on this Saturday than you normally see on a Saturday because of all the cancellations on Friday. A lot of games got pushed from Friday to Saturday, but there were a lot of girls' games slated for Saturday anyway. Let's go into the first one that was slated. It's Grand Valley getting the tough loss to Southeast in a defensive one, 34-29, the final score there. A defensive battle goes the way of the Pirates as they go on the road to win in a very tough environment in Grand Valley. Niles beats Lordstown 50-6, the final score for that one. The Dragons all over the Red Devils. Speaking of Red Devils in Crestwood, Western Reserve falls to that style of Red Devil as they fall to Crestwood 41-35, the final score there. I was at Columbiana for this game against the Tigers, and Columbiana They set the tone against the reigning regional champion in Division 4 as they won the first quarter 18-0. Never looked back, 47-18. The final score here. Columbiana rocks the Tigers. This was a surprise. Not that Columbiana won, but the fact that they dominated this game. They really did. They just absolutely suffocated this Tiger offense with their ball pressure, with their man-to-man defense that I know Springfield does not see a lot. There's not a lot of teams in that conference that have the ability to go man-to-man against the Tigers and succeed. So Springfield sees a heck of a lot of zone, and Columbiana just came and manned them up, and there was ball pressure everywhere, a lot of turnovers because of it. Columbiana also throws multiple different kind of presses at you as well, which you have to adjust to on the fly. Springfield did not do a good job with that either. And then on the offensive end, just a balanced offensive performance from Columbiana. 3 players with 9 or more points. They had Avery Marshall have a good game in double figures with 10. Ellie Venecia with 10. Evie Rapp had 9. You have other players like Ava Heinrich score in, a little bit of bunches here and there in big moments. You had Elena Johnston hit some big shots. You just had a lot of balance on offense. And when you mix that with a defense that just absolutely does their job, man, what a big signature victory for Columbia. They've had 2 big Saturday non-conference wins this year in the Clippers home. One against Poland, which I know they're 9-5. They're not exactly the record that is a world beater right now, but it's Poland. It's the name. It's the signature win there to beat this team that you've never played before, coming into your house and beating them, and then beating Springfield, who went to the regional championship and won it last year, went to states, went to Dayton, was a Final Four team, and you come and you beat them pretty soundly. That's a big feather in the cap for Columbiana. And talking to Dave Chrisman after the game, he's just so proud that they came in the second half where they already had a big lead at halftime, and they just never let go. He said this team had struggled to put together full games this season at times, and he thought when he was going into the locker room after halftime, he said this could be a time when this team kind of lets off the gas pedal, but they didn't. They played the second half as if it was tied at halftime 0-0. They played with fire. They played with unbelievable tenacity on defense. This Columbiana team is good, and it's time to put some respect on their name because normally, like, to be honest, in years past, it was Columbiana. Yes, they're winning against the EOAC teams, but what's going to happen when you play good teams outside of the conference that are just playing a little bit higher level basketball than you? Usually they foul in those games. Just be real. This year, though, beat Poland, beat Springfield. Both those teams have objectively tougher schedules than Columbiana. It didn't matter. And Columbiana gets to win on both those occasions. Clippers are for real this year, and the Clipper clap is alive and well. We heard that plenty of times in Columbiana as well. Bristol edges Liberty. No, Liberty, I'm sorry, beats Bristol 25-19. The final score there. Liberty gets their second win of the season. Congratulations to them. They've been playing so hard the last 2 games out. They put up a good fight against South Range on Monday. They almost beat Brookfield on Thursday, and they finally were able to break through that ceiling and get their second win of the year on the road against Bristol. So congratulations to Liberty there. I said a lot about them on Friday after Thursday's game. They're playing the right way. Obviously, they don't have the talent right now to go and win a lot of games, but they're just, the attitude is right, the effort is right. They're being coached there. They seem very coachable. They're doing what their coaches is asking of them, and they're just, the effort and the tenacity from Liberty is there. So I'm very happy to see them go on the road, especially against a non-YSN team where we can be 100% rooting for Liberty in that instance, and get a big win on the road at Bristol. So congratulations to the Leopards. You start to see results that just backs up the work ethic and attitude that you've been having all season. So hopefully those girls continue to have that attitude, that winning mindset, and they keep going out and playing hard. That's all you can do. Play hard, get better every day. And Liberty's showing that. I love Coach Reynolds. Like seeing him coach live 2 games in a row. Love what he's doing with that program. I think it's a perfect guy in the perfect situation down there in Liberty. Brookfield gets their second win in a row, second win in 3 days as they beat Maplewood 43-33 at home. Keely Wellman, another double-double, averaging a double-double all year, and that does not stop against Maplewood. Maya Jumper has a big day as well for Brookfield. Those two have been carrying the load for the Warriors, who are now 6-10 on the season. Tough ass though tonight to go and make it 3 in a row. They have to travel to Crestview tonight, who of course is one of 2 undefeated teams in the Ysn family on the girls' side. Lakeview goes to Matthews, gets a big win, 61-14. Bulldogs on top of the Mustangs. Howland goes to Marlington, gets a 55-41 win over the Dukes. Do want to give a little bit of a congratulations. I know Marlington is on a Ysn team, but Chelsea Evanich has been on our network plenty of times. Marlington shows up on the EBC, circuit, and we've broadcasted her, enough to be very familiar with how good of a basketball player she is. She became the program's all-time leading scorer, so wanted to send a special congratulations to her on that because while we wish Marlington was a Ysn team and we'll never close the door to Marlington, you can always knock on that Ysn door and let us in. We real recognize real, right? When you see a really good talented player hit a milestone like that, you tip the hat. And Chelsea Evanich, great basketball player, amazing basketball player. So you tip the hat, go into Seton Hill to play at the next level. But the Ysn team does prevail. Howland gets to win there in Marlington, a tough place to play against the Dukes. We go to the next one. Beaver Local falls to Martins Ferry, 62-22. Final score there. Tough one for the Beavers. Louisville all over Ursuline, 73-42. The final score there. Brooke Heron has a huge day for the Leopards in that one. Canfield and Boardman go toe to toe. And I said it on Friday. Canfield they were going to play with their hair on fire because they could not afford a loss. But in double overtime, it is Boardman that gets the last plays of the night. And they do knock out Canfield 63-60. What can you say about this game? I mean, it's the epitome of AAC basketball. It's so evenly matched in this conference. We've seen every team have a good night against the other team. Boardman lost to Fitch, and Fitch had a good day there. It's a Fallon, Fitch, Canfield. Canfield is a really good team, and they have 3 losses in the conference. Someone had to be that team this year that had struggles in the conference. Someone had to be that team to drop some of these games. It doesn't mean they're not a good basketball team and they can't go make a tournament run. It just means that the likelihood that they're winning the conference is now pretty much out the window, right? Which is almost a kind of a breath of relief for Canfield. I mean, you don't want to say that because everyone wants to win a conference, and that's definitely a goal. And I'm sure there's a lot of disappointment over in that camp of wanting to win the AAC and not being able to come through in those moments. But at the same time, now every game that you play from here until middle of February is all about the tournament. That's your focus now. You're not focusing on the conference because you've probably knocked yourself out of winning it, which is sad, which is not what you want. But at the same time, you're like, everything's tournament now. Everything's tournament time. Getting better for tournament is all that matters. And you can make a couple of coaching changes, or I should say coaching decision changes that kind of gear towards getting better rather than doing whatever it takes to win this game because we need it for the conference, right? So getting your team better for the tournament is now Canfield's complete focus. And that can be a little bit of a relief of pressure, a little bit. And you can probably, maybe, if the team handles it right, see them have a little breath of fresh air the next time they're out on the floor because, honestly, the pressure of winning the AAC, it's off. Because The odds of winning it now are slim to none for Canfield. If they're not mathematically out of it, they're close. With 3 losses now in the conference, especially because it's such a small conference. I don't think they can win it. But now you just focus on getting better and making sure you hit your stride towards February. And they're still a very good basketball team. There's still a lot ahead of them, a lot of good players down there. If they don't let this define their season, they can still absolutely make a pretty good, significant tournament run. There's a lot of D2 talent to run into, but Canfield's right there. They're right there. Double overtime heartbreaker to Boardman. Boardman on the other side, let's talk about them. Let's talk about their just ability to go and win games, man. Mackenzie Riccatelli hits a 3 to tie up before the second overtime. So to force second overtime. She has 1,000 career points. Congratulations. She needed 4. Everyone kind of knew it was going to happen. You need 4 points. You're a superstar. You're going to go get those. But past the milestone, just being able to continue to find ways to put on that cape for this team. When other players contribute to the Boardman's offense, and then they can let Mackenzie Riccatelli be that hero when she has to be and not have to be at the whole entire game. This Boardman team is so good. And she can be that takeover player the whole game. We saw them against Hilliard Davidson in the Holiday Hoops tournament, a very defensive team. One of the best defenses I think Boardman has played all year. They shut down everybody outside of Mackenzie Riccatelli. It was 22 points for her, 29 points for Boardman. And Boardman still won the game because he found ways to score. Right? So she can take over, but it's nice to see when Boardman is able to have those other players step up and score as well, because that's what you're going to need to make a run in D1. It's the end of discussion. You're not going to win D1 with one player scoring. So Boardman is at their best. I've said it before. I'll say it again. When Boardman is winning against good teams, which they have done plenty of times this year, they are getting their complimentary scorers involved in hitting shots. And they did that against Canfield, and they win in double OT. What a thrilling game. Probably the best game on the network yet this season. And DJ Oakley, as always, a great call in that one. Cardinal Mooney falls to Roger Bacon by 1 in a very defensive battle. 29-28, Mooney falls in Youngstown. Hoban was able to beat Rogers 64-52. Nira Stevens with a career-high point total in this one. So she's able to put the team on her back a little bit and have a very good effort. You can find a post-game interview with her and Coach Davis on YSN's YouTube, as well as the story for this game on ysnlive.com. Jefferson was able to beat Berkshire. Final score there, 40-32. Falcons with a big win at home. Campbell Memorial goes up against Cheney. They lose 46-20. How about freshman Alyssa Brown? Quadruple double. That's the second one we've seen this week. And they've both been from freshmen. What in the world is going to be putting into this water in Jackson Milton and Cheney? Alyssa Brown, quadruple double. Amanda Yassine, quadruple double on Thursday. Both freshmen, both having really good seasons. Love to see it. Love to see immediate impact players come in right off of the start of high school and find ways to do really, really good things. So congratulations to Alyssa Brown. Quadruple double for Cheney in their big win over Camel. They needed that victory as well, 46-20, after a couple of tough ones for the Cowgirls in a row. Orange gets the win over Fairview Park. Final score there, 53-44. Big win for the Lions there. We see Heartland and Latonia get together. It is Heartland Christian getting the win, 34-23. Edgewood comes back from being down 13 to beat South Range, 62-51. CC Foster, though, had a big game for the Raiders, a season-high 17 points for her. Edgewood was led by Keita McCollister with 18. Faith Venzel had a very important 13 points. And Avery Venzel actually hit a big 3 at the end of the third to take it from a 4-point lead for Edgewood up to a 7-point lead. And they kind of held serve in the fourth quarter through a couple of big shots knocked down by South Range down the stretch. And then last but not least, in the AAC, proving how tough the conference is, Warren Harding comes and upsets Fitch 32-29. The Raiders shake up the AAC standings and get the win there over the Falcons. Boys basketball on Saturday. Girard and Poland got together. This was a win for Poland, 47-26, Poland gets the victory. West Branch and Minerva. West Branch gets the EBC win, 73-61, the final score there. Edgewood gets the win over Perry, another very close win for the Warriors. They've been playing in close games, seems like all season long. They've dropped a couple, they won a couple, and they win this one by 2. Crestwood and Grand Valley getting together. Crestwood gets the win, 44-39. Red Devils go on the road and beat the Mustangs. Indian Creek and Beaver Local. It is the Beavers that get them out on top there, 53-44. Alliance and Salem EBC action. And it's Alliance with the 6-point victory, 56-50 over the Quakers. Ursuline going across the Ohio-Pennsylvania border to take on Farrell, and they win 78-46 over the Steelers over there in Pennsylvania. Columbiana and United getting together in the EOAC. United gets the loss, but the fight put up by the Eagles 64-58. Columbiana escapes the Eagles' upset bid. Heartland Christian and Latonia play the boys-girls doubleheader. The boys for Heartland get the win over Latonia, 74-38, the final score there. Middle Ridge bounces back from their loss on Friday to beat Niles on Saturday, 61-52. We see Brookfield and Valley Christian play a heck of a game, but it's Valley Christian that gets the win, 60-55 over Brookfield. And then last but not least, Louisville gets the win over Boardman, 80-51, the final score there. Obviously, the Leopards are one of the premier teams in the whole Division II picture. So no shocker that they're able to protect their home floor and get a big win over Boardman. So that is your weekend recap. Friday was hurt by snowstorm, really put a damper on it, but because of it, we had a really fun Saturday on the network. And man, was it a lot to digest, I know. Let's go into the comments section and see what we got from our viewers over here on Facebook. Just a "Let's Go" by BJ Way. I have a feeling that might not be a real account. Just putting it out there. BJ, if you're real, who you saying let's go to? Let me know who you're rooting for. But BJ We. And then the next comment is this: gonna go out on a limb and say maybe that's not a real Facebook account. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But usually when you have just a "let's go" and then an "oh," something ain't right. Something ain't right, right? So, BJ, if you're real, let me know who you're let's going, and let's talk about it. Let's gas up your favorite team. And if you're not real, then hey, more power to you. Welcome to the robots, right? We will take our commercial break here on Running Point, and when we come back, we have a player profile to play from Kinsman Badger girls basketball. It's Katie Grexa coming up after the commercial break on Running Point, brought to you as always by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
Craftsmanship to us is 60 years of pride and dedication.
Passed down from generation to generation.
The hardwood floors that your kids take their first steps on.
The solid wood doors you quietly close at night.
The things we create day in and day out are the products that end up turning your house into a home.
At Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, uncompromising quality and craftsmanship built our business.
And it will keep us moving forward for generations to come.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means we want to take care of the community that takes care of us too.
And we have to work together always. And that's how you stay in business for 40 years.
I love being a helper because when I help somebody, it makes me feel good.
It means a lot that I can make a difference in others' lives.
So I will do everything I can and just being there for them every step of the way.
I want them to know within the first 5 minutes that they could depend on me. That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun. It all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
Welcome back to Running Point on YSNLive.com, brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. You just heard from them in that commercial break. They go the extra mile for you. We do the same here on this show every single day with player profiles, trying to get them every single day at least. We try hard, and we do in most days. More than not, we have a player profile to feature. And we have one today. It is Katie Grexa, the superstar from Badger. A great interview with her, a great conversation about her senior season. So here you go. Please enjoy it. Katie Grexa on Running Point. Hey, Anthony Hartwig with you. We are excited for a Badger girls basketball player profile. I'm here with Katie Grexa, superstar. If you know Badger basketball, you're talking about Katie. Katie, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Yep.
First question for you. We're talking about this Badger program. You've been a part of it for a while. You've been a mainstay, and you've been a name that has been said for this Badger program. Talk about what it was like coming into this year, new coaching staff, and trying to just keep that same standard up, and what it's been like for you so far.
Yeah, so I knew definitely going into this year it was going to be a little bit harder, especially with a new coach coming in. But I knew I'd have to be there for my teammates and all that. So just trusting Mr. Carney coming in and coaching us and keeping our high standard that we have. I definitely knew that we'd have to come in with some intensity and keep things going from last year.
Talk about some of the first interactions you had with Coach Carney and the new coaching staff, and some of the things that made it so easy to buy into what they were selling and to really lean into their coaching style, and to be able to show your teammates that, hey, we got to trust these guys.
Yeah, so I definitely knew that Mr. Carney was going to be coaching a little bit different than Coach Bell would. And since I've had Coach Bell for the last 3 years, I knew it was definitely going to be a hard transition, but Mr. Carney's been good with that, and he's been trying to keep our style of play since last year. Like, we work hard on defense. We're trying to keep that up, keep that going. We do have some of the same coaches that we did last year just sitting on the bench with us, so nothing really new has changed there, but Mr. Carney's definitely been doing good. I was a little nervous at first, but he's been doing a pretty good job.
It's your senior year, which means everything that you're doing, it's the last time you're going to do it. How have the emotions and the mindset changed this year, and how have you been handling, the senior year, the last run?
Oh yeah, it's definitely been a ride. I don't want it to be over. I love basketball. I love just high school basketball, getting to be with my team and all that. I'm definitely gonna miss it, but I'm really excited to be able to continue my basketball career at Lake Erie. But emotions have been very high for me this year. Personally, like me, I don't feel like I've been playing up to I have high standards for myself, so I feel like I've been slacking a little bit and I need to pick it up. But it's definitely been very emotional.
Let's talk about, those high standards that you set, because I think people would look at your stats and be like, okay, she's having, what is she talking about? But you set these really high standards for yourself. Where did that come from, and where did you kind of set these standards, and where does that mentality of always trying to raise the bar come from for you?
So I always want to be better than I have been. Trying to strive for that. Last year was a really good season for me. I got my 1,000 points last year. That's always been a really big goal of mine coming into high school. So Sarah Bonar has our school record at 1,639 points, and I've always wanted to get that. But this year, I haven't been scoring as much as I did last year, so that record's looking a little bit far out of reach for me now. But I'm okay with that. I've learned to accept it. I don't have to be all-time leading scorer to know that I've made an impact here at Badger. I definitely want to hit 1,500 points, though. I'm not sure if I'm going to get it. I'm not going to try to get it and like force it, but it would be great if it comes. I hold myself to a really high standard. I feel like I need to get my teammates really involved, and I've been trying to do that a lot more because I know most of the light is always on me, and to me, I'm not the best defender on the team. Gabby Miller is, and she's really stepped it up this year. So getting her more involved in the game and understanding. So when I leave next year and our seniors leave next year, I'm leaving them with something. They have the experience and they know what they need to get done and all that. So
I like that you brought up the word impact because I think one of the great measuring sticks of those seniors is what the program looks like after they go. What kind of things are you doing, like you said, with Gabby Miller and the rest of your players? What are you trying to do to make sure that when you graduate, this Badger program doesn't lose a beat and the standard is still there?
So during practices, I'll stop the game when we're playing like 5-on-5 or if we're just practicing shooting and all this. And if I see something that's wrong, I'm going to stop it and I'm going to fix it there so that they don't continue doing that. And we've had a couple girls on our JV who haven't played basketball in a couple years or this is their first year. So I like to stop and I like to show them some things. And I like to explain to them like why we do this. And also when we're practicing, I don't take it easy on them at all. I mean, you got to keep that intensity up there because if they're not learning in practice, they're not going to learn during the game. So I talk to them during practices. I'm going to be hard on them, but they're definitely going to learn. So when game time comes, they're going to do it. Like with Anya, I feel like Anya has been watching me. So she's been starting to play like me a little bit. And we've been wanting her to get that Euro step. So in practices, when I see she's able to do it, I'll give her the ball and I'll be like, go do it now. And she's been able to do that in the game. And everybody's been so excited for her. So really just understanding what my other teammates' goals are and just seeing what they want to do, I'm going to get them to the point where they're going to do it.
You know, I love hearing talking about like stopping practice and coaching yourself and being able to, just grow the younger players. Not every coach would trust a player enough to just be like, hey, stop practice when you think you have to and be that leader. What's it mean to you to have coaches that do trust you to stop practice when you have to and say, hey, we need to fix this or this needs to be fixed and to be able to lead like that I'm sure there are a lot of players out there that would love to that just don't have that opportunity. What's it mean to you that you have a coaching staff that lets you do that?
So Mr. Carney does give me a lot of leeway. He really lets me take over sometimes because he does trust me and I trust him and he trusts that I know what I'm talking about to get stuff done. So when we're putting in defenses or offenses and I see something that's wrong, we'll talk about it and he'll let me explain it to the girls and let me take over so that they're understanding it. It's really nice to have him let me do that because then I feel like I'm getting them more involved and maybe that they're listening to me a little bit more because I know sometimes when a coach says something, you're kind of like, yeah, okay, whatever. But if you have like one of the seniors or something, somebody that you look up to, like they're telling you like this is what you need to do, I feel like it goes a little bit further than a coach yelling at you or telling you.
So we're talking about you making the future of this program better. Let's talk about your future. You made the post just a week ago that you were going to continue your basketball career at Lake Erie. What made that decision easy for you, and what were some things that weighed you towards Lake Erie College? Oh.
A lot of weight off of me. Committing to Lake Erie. It's taken a lot of weight off and I'm so excited to be able to continue playing basketball because basketball is a huge part of my life. And I mean, I really like the coach there. I really like the school, the campus. The conference is tough, and I really like that about the school. And the problem that I have been having with all the other schools that have like contacted me and all that is I didn't really like the conferences. And I wanted a tough conference. And with Lake Erie, they're still kind of in a rebuilding year, and their record might not look great, but I'm hoping that I can come in and make an impact there too, and we could get things rolling and we could start having a successful and winning season.
So you're committed, you're not signed yet. So tell me about what it's going to feel like for you. I mean, you know yourself better than anybody when you get that letter of, that letter of intent, and you're able to put your name on that dotted line and officially make this dream of college basketball that I know you've had for a long time a reality. What's that moment going to be like for you?
I can't wait. I gotta get on it. I gotta pick my day that I'm gonna sign, but I'm waiting for it. It's gonna be such a relief and such a great honor to sign and actually be able to say, hey, I'm gonna go play D2 college basketball and hopefully be really good at it.
Well, we have faith in that for sure. When you committed, who were some of the first people you had to call and tell that, like, hey, I made the decision. I'm coming to Lake Erie.
So one of the first people that I texted was Coach Bell. I told him, I was like, hey, I just committed. I want him there on my signing day. He's been a huge part in getting me to the point where I am now. And I definitely couldn't be as good as a basketball player that I am without him. So he was definitely the first one that I told. And then just texting my family, telling them that I finally did it.
We usually don't talk about the movements of coaches and everything because, usually that's kind of mucky. But this one is different. You had such a good relationship with Coach Lavelle. And obviously he went home to Urson. Like, that was a job that he wanted for a long time. What was that kind of like when he kind of told you guys that he wasn't going to be a Badger anymore and there was going to be that transition? And what was that kind of like for you?
So he pulled us as a team into the locker room and he told us, he was like, hey, I'm going to be done coaching here at Badger. And at that point, he didn't know that he was going to be coaching at Ursuline yet. And he didn't try to sign up or do it there yet. So I was hurt. I was really hurt, but I knew that this was something that he needed to do. I know it was a tough decision for him and I trusted him. I mean, I'm glad that he got to go home to Ursuline and he has that opportunity. And I'm glad with the success that he's having. Like, he deserves it. And I'm overall really happy to him. I wish he was still here with me my senior year, but I know that how he says God wanted him there. So I know it was the right choice for him. And I'm just happy for him.
Like you said, he was one of the first guys you still went and told that you committed. How much has he still been a part of your journey this year? I mean, I'm sure you've gotten a lot of texts, a lot of encouragement. How much have you still been kind of, including him in your journey this year as a senior?
So I went to their first 4 games. I've been to a couple more than that. I like going to support my friends at Ursuline and supporting him. And I got to see his aunt and his mom and his son again. And that was really nice. And it was emotional for me because I really miss them. And we still text a lot and we call all the time and we talk a lot of basketball. So I love that we still have that connection and that I still have him to be a part of my life, that I can talk to him still.
How much do you wish that Ursuline popped up on your schedule? Like, how much would you want to go? Like, would you like that? Would you like being able to go up against Coach Turnage a little bit?
I would. It would definitely be a really good game. I mean, honestly, if we won or lost, I wouldn't really care because I just want to bring that intensity and see how good we could do. I played AU with a couple of the girls on the team, so I always love playing them and bringing that intensity and just trying to make them work hard for it.
We're talking about basketball. Obviously, you're going to be playing it at the next level. Let's talk about what you're going to be studying and kind of some of the things you're going to be interested in at Lake Erie to further your career after the sport.
So I want to go in for exercise science or sports medicine, something in there. I'm not quite sure what I want to be yet, but I have a couple ideas, like an athletic trainer or a physical therapist. I always want to be involved with sports, and I feel like that's a way for me to do it. And whenever somebody gets an injury on the team or something, like I'm the first person there. I'm telling them what they need to do. I'm taping it if they need it taped. I'm giving them exercises. Like I'll tell them get a band, work your ankles, all this. So I feel like that's still gonna be a big part of my life, and that's the way that I want to go.
She needs an athletic trainer in Badger. You already got one in Katie Grexer, right? Ready for the job. Do
Yeah.
you see maybe like in the same track? You're coaching in practice a little bit with your team. Do you see maybe a coach in your future? Could we be seeing Coach Grexer somewhere down the line?
So I have been thinking about that a lot lately. I think I definitely would want to, because as I've been helping with the little kids, whether it's soccer or basketball, like help coach them. And actually, our ball girl, Elena, I helped her out in the fourth grade. Like I would always give her some tips. So she just gave me a note the other day, and she was like, just thanking me for like everything that I did for her. And she told me that I was a great inspiration and role model. And that just made my heart. And there's a bunch of little girls on the little teams that I help out with that, like, I'll see them in the hallways when I'm walking through school. They'll run up and they'll attack me and just jump all over me and give me hugs. So I feel like definitely if I made an impact in their life, like it makes me feel good. So I definitely I would want to do that.
You've been able to do so much in your basketball career. Badger as a team has been able to do so much since you've been on the team. What is the one thing that you're the most proud of so far in your basketball career that when you graduate from Badger, you're going to say, this is kind of my shining moment, or this is our shining moment as a team that I am most proud that we were able to do?
I'm proud of the impact that I've had on people, and that we've brought Badger Braves basketball back for girls. Like I feel like in the past people haven't, like, it's not been a big thing, but I feel like the last 4 years with definitely with Coach Bell, like he's set that expectation for us, and he made us like who we are. So just bringing in the crowd and all that, like we finally got some attention on our Lady Braves team. So that's definitely nice. And also getting the knack, first time in 38 years that we've got it. That's definitely like probably got to be my proudest moment.
All right, before we let you go, we do this with every player profile. We want to give you the chance to shine a light on your people in your life and your support system. We're shining such a big light on you. We want to give you the chance to turn it on the people that support you. We want to give you as much time as you want to send out your shout outs to whoever you think deserve it.
So definitely out to Coach Bell for being a great coach and always being there for me and continuing to be my coach still and coaching me up. Definitely my family, my mom, my dad, my definitely my grandma. She's been there through everything. She's taken me AAU practices all around. She does everything for me, and I really appreciate that. And definitely to my fan base, to the Jaegers, everyone who comes out and supports me and always has my back and always defending my name.
All right, Katie, we're a fan too at YSN. We love having you. We love supporting you. And we can't wait to talk to you real soon. Good luck the rest of your senior year. Thanks for the time. And once again, we'll talk to you real soon. That was Katie Grexer from Badger. I told you it was a great interview. It was a great conversation. I know Katie doesn't love interviews. She told me when we were scheduling, I'm not too big on interviews, but I'll tell you what, she can talk about basketball all day. And I could have had that conversation till the sun goes down. Of course, middle of the school day, we're not going to drag it on too long, but a great conversation with Katie Grexer. We want to thank her for her time, and you can find that interview in its entirety if you missed a minute of it on our YouTube page, as well as on our website with a story attached to it. On our YouTube page, if you're over there, if you go over there to check out that interview, please subscribe if you feel so kind and so moved to, I guess I should say. Subscribers help us reach more people. The more subscribers we have, the more YouTube thinks that people like us, the more that they put our videos out there. And then if you are subscribed, make sure to also hit that notification bell next to the subscribe button on YouTube so you're notified when we put up video content. We put up a lot of it. Player profiles like that, coaches' corners, post-game interviews, highlights, all of it goes up on our YouTube. It's pretty much updated daily, and you don't want to miss any of the content that we put up. So make sure to hit that bell and hit that subscribe button as well on our YouTube page. Let's really quickly go over the games that are going to go on tonight. We'll hop back into the scoreboard, which is always, again, presented by not Joe Dickey Electric, I'm sorry, presented by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. Let's jump into today, Back to the Future, into the DeLorean a little bit. January 22nd, it's a Monday, and it's a good day for girls basketball. It's girls' night on the network. Ashley Beulah St. John hosting Fairport Harding tonight. Crestview trying to stay undefeated, one of two teams on the network undefeated, them and Edgewood. Last one standing. And they will play a Warrior, not Edgewood, but Brookfield Warriors. Come to town to try to test the undefeated Rebels. Camel goes to Garrettsville Garfield. Cardinal Mooney will travel to Girard. That should be a really fun game going down there in Girard. Champion will be hosting LeBray. Remember, this one is a big one for the Flashes because they still have a matchup with Crestview on the horizon. They're one loss in the MVAC, but the last time they played LeBray, it was a good one in Leavittsburg. 2-point victory for the Flashes, so they need to hold off LeBray in this game so they can set up themselves with a chance to go to Crestview, get a win, and tie the MVAC up. Columbiana will travel to Wellsville tonight as they are coming off the big win over Springfield. South Range trying to get some revenge as they go to Lakeview, and a team that came to the Thriller Dome and beat them earlier in the season. They'll try to return the favor in Cortland tonight. Lakeview coming off of a win as well. South Range coming off of a tough loss where they gave up a big lead. Hubbard will go to Struthers tonight. We have Latonia going to East Palestine. Matthews travels to Badger. We have McDonald going to Sebring. Middle Ridge going outside the MVAC tonight to host Mogador. Newton Falls goes to Liberty. We have Niles going to Poland. Beaver Local hosting Oak Glen. Southern going to United. That'll be a big one in the EOAC, remember, because now United and Columbiana tied with one loss apiece. But Southern beat United last time they played. So they need to take care of their business against Southern at home and do the Eagles. If they lose, then it's going to really come down to that last matchup with Columbiana and United, who beat Columbiana the first time. So they've all beaten each other. Columbiana knocked off Southern. Southern needs to win this game and then hope that United goes and beats the Clippers a second time this season. That would be a three-way tie in the EOAC if that were to happen. So Southern's hopes in the balance, and then United's hopes for an outright championship in the balance. Both of those going to be hanging by a thread tonight. Springfield will go to Lowville tonight. There was a 2-point game when the Rockets went to the Jungle, so we're expecting another good one here in Lowville. It'll be a 5:30 varsity-only start time, so that's the scheduling note from Springfield and Lowville. Valley Christian travels to Lisbon. We go to Jackson Milton, where Western Reserve tries to cool off the Blue Jays. Remember, Amani Yassin, the last time they were on the floor, had a quadruple double. And they would love to beat their biggest rival in Western Reserve. Let's see. Conneaut goes to Cardinal tonight. And last but not least, Pontotoning Valley will host Grand Valley. The Battle of the Valleys going down between the Lakers and the Mustangs. That should actually be a pretty dang good basketball game as well. Let's go over what will be on the network and what announcer crews will have you covered tonight. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games on the network tonight. In Crestview, Tony Perazio will have you covered there. The school broadcast team will have you covered in Garrettsville Garfield as they host Campbell Memorial. Matt Marr will be in Girard, as that one is going to be with Cardinal Mooney. That should be a really fun one there between the Indians and Cardinals. I'm going Champion to have a fun one with the Flashes and the Vikings. Gary Altizer will be in Wellsville as they try to upset the conference leader Clippers. Sam Ballast and Jake Nicholas will be in Lakeview for their matchup with South Range. Bob and Donna Zanny will be in the call for the Fieldhouse for Struthers and Hubbard. Bill Shea will be at Badger as they host Matthews. Michael Janaki going down to Hanoverton for that big one with Southern and United. Noah Doty will make the trip to Lowville for Springfield and the Rockets. And then DJ Oakley will be in East Palestine as they take on Latonia. Scheduling note, the Youngstown East against Maplewood game that was originally scheduled for today has been canceled. So if you're looking for that game, you're looking at your original schedule from the beginning of the season, that game not happening tonight. Youngstown East and Maplewood canceled. That'll do it for today's episode of Running Point. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. We also want to send a good thank you out to Katie Grexa for doing that interview and giving us her time and letting us play it on the show. We appreciate every player that takes time out of their day to do an interview with us. We'll have another one tomorrow as we gear up for a Tuesday episode of Running Point from 1 to 2 tomorrow. Enjoy all the games tonight. YSNlive.com/live is where you can find them.